Hello everyone, welcome back to another video lecture on sexual reproduction in flowering plants. And this chapter, in the last video lecture, we studied about the seed, the types of seeds and their layers, what they are covered here. And along with the types of seeds we studied, what type of seeds are present. Okay, those seeds, the types of seeds we present, albuminous and non-albuminous seeds. And usually seeds are covered by seed coat, and it contains cotyledon, it contains embryonal axis. Okay, the definition of seed, just remember what is the seed, because it is nothing but the fertilized oval. It's nothing but the fertilized oval. That is important, please remember. Sometimes you think it is very silly, but this one only they are going to be asked the definition, what is seed. So at that time you will get a lot of confusions. Okay, don't get confused, it is nothing but a fertilized oval. Okay, that we call it as a seed. And along with this we studied about here are some points. We studied about the perisperm. This definition is very important, please remember. And two examples they given, that is black pepper and wheat. Okay, some amount of nucellus is going to be persist, or some remnants of nucellus is present here in the seeds. Okay, such seeds we call it as a perisperm. That persistent nucellus we call it as a perisperm, and the seed have the perisperm, that we call it as a perispermic seed. Okay, please remember perisperm, and for your competitive exam also they will ask what is perisperm. And next here, and that only again here, that is seed coats. Usually seed is covered by two layers. The outer one is that is testa, and the inner one is tegma. This is not given in your NCERT, just do mark it. Okay, and then usually in the microphylla region it is totally open. Okay, and those two coats or seed coats are mainly formed by those integuments. Okay, those integuments becomes a seed coat, and the seed coats are not completely covered in some region of the oval, and that region we call it as a microphyll. And that microphyll is still present in the seeds also. A small hole you can find here, like this small hole you can find here, and that can facilitate the transfer of oxygen and water into it for the germination purpose. Okay, and then here seeds have some dormancy condition. It means they are inactive in some period. Okay, they are inactive in some period, the metabolically inactive. Such condition or such time we call it as a dormancy, or dormant period, we call it as a dormant period. Okay, because it usually seeds will lose the water up to they remain only 10 to 15% of water present in the seeds. Okay, that is useful for this condition, dormancy condition. Okay, and whenever the favorable conditions arise, for example temperature, the moisture, and then oxygen, everything, those favorable conditions arise, at that time they are going to be developed. Okay, they are going to be start their germination. Okay, this is about the seed. This we studied in the last class. And students, moving to the next, these are the structures of the seeds, they differently given. And here the next is fruit. Okay, next one is fruit. Here we will study about the development of fruit. A small video is there, a small, not that much given in your NCERT, only few points they given. The next is, that is fruit. What are fruits? That the question will arise. And fruits, how they are arised, how the fruits they are arised, that is also very important. Usually fruits are mainly developed from the ovary. Okay, the fruits are mainly developed from the ovary. Ovals are developed, seeds are developed from the oval. This common basic you should know about these two. Seeds are developed from the oval, and fruits are developed from the ovary. And these two processes simultaneously occurs, because when the fertilization occurs, it means the post fertilization events are going on, so they have to prepare fruit also. they start to prepare fruits also, and that ovary, the outer ovary, is start developing as a fruit. It's going to start developing as a fruit, and inside the ovary there is a oval, and that oval start to develop into a seed. Okay, that is the process. These two occurs simultaneously. Okay, and here so many points they given here. That is here the ovary is a flower. Ovary of a flower develops into a fruit. Okay, that is the ovary of the flower is going to be developed into fruit. And here one the term given here, that is pericarp. Usually the simultaneous process, that is the development of the seed and the development of the fruit, starts simultaneously. So usually the ovary contains the pericarp layer, the outer layer. For example, this is the ovary. You can take the outermost layer is pericarp, the outermost layer of the ovary. Okay, that forms the outer layer of the fruit. Okay, the outermost layer of the ovary that forms the outermost layer of the fruit. Outermost layer of the fruit, and that outermost layer of a fruit we call it as a pericarp. For 1 marks question it is also very important. Pericarp, we call it as a pericarp. And one diagram given here, fruit diagram, you can see here. In case of apple, they given here this outermost layer we call it as a pericarp, and here inside the pericarp you can find the innermost layer, that is endocarp. The innermost layer of the pericarp we call it as the endocarp. Okay, the innermost layer of the pericarp we call it as the endocarp. And next to endocarp, between the exocarp and endocarp, that is mesocarp. These are present in ovary. Okay, these are present in not ovary, they are present in fruits. Please remember the definition of fruit is pericarp is also very important. Okay, the outermost layer of a fruit, simple definition. The outermost layer of a fruit we call it as a pericarp, and endocarp the innermost layer of the fruit or pericarp, and next to that mesocarp in the middle, and after that we can find the exocarp. That pericarp is going to be divided into 3 layers. Okay, that is the thing. And here next, show here next, sorry. Okay, here coming to the, sorry, this is also seed. Okay, here coming to the next points. Usually fruits are either fleshy or dry. Either they may be fleshy or either maybe they may be dry. You can feel it. In case of mango it is dry, in case of orange it is in case of mango it is fleshy, in case of orange it is also fleshy. You can take plenty of examples, you can take. You can take grapes, and so many examples you can take. Those are fleshy. Fleshy means there is a liquid portion you can find. It contains more amount of water. So you can find so many plants are there. They are all fleshy. Okay, they are all fleshy because the whatever the content present inside, whatever the stored food present inside, it is fleshy. You can take a example, best example, that is mango. Now the season is going on, you can get mangoes, and that is the example you can take for a fleshy fruits. Whenever you are going to eat the mango, just imagine it is a type of fleshy fruit. Okay, it is a type of fleshy fruit. And then orange is also same, it is also fleshy fruit, and some of them are dry. Here dry fruits are there. For example, groundnut you can take, mustard you can take. Okay, so many examples are there. Mustard is there, groundnut is there, they're all dry, they're not wet, they're all dry. Okay, they're all completely dry. Such fruits are also present. And this is about the dry fruit and fleshy fruit. Simple. It's fleshy, the content is somewhat liquid, it contains more amount of liquid, and some of the seeds are dry, they do not have that much of water content, and those seeds we call it as a point. That is uh, types of fruits. There are mainly 2 types of fruits we can see here. There are mainly 2 types of fruits we can see. One is false fruit, another one is true fruits. Okay, very simple. One is false fruit, another one is true fruits. They given the example for false fruit, one is apple and strawberry. Both strawberry and apples are false fruit. Why those are called as false fruit? Usually, the fruit is mainly formed from ovary, that we know. The fruit is mainly formed from ovary. But in case of strawberry and apple, what will happen? The the ovary is not completely involving in the formation of fruit. It is not completely involving in the formation of fruit. Thalamus is also involving in the formation of fruit. So it is false. Thalamus is also involving in the formation of fruit. Such fruits we call it as a false fruits. Okay, such fruits we call it as a false fruits. Here they given diagram. Okay, here you can see. Sorry, here you can see thalamus. It is not a ovary, it is a thalamus. You can take strawberry also example here. This is the thalamus. So because of this involvement of the thalamus in the formation of the fruit, okay, completely ovary is not going to be involved here. Thalamus is also involving in the formation of fruit. So such fruits we call it as a false fruits. Please remember, false fruits. It means only the ovary is not involving in the formation of the fruit. Along with that, some other parts, for example, thalamus. What will happen during fertilization? After fertilization, all the contents are going to be disappear. Okay, all the parts and contents are going to be disappear from the flower. For example, petals are going to be disappear, sepals are going to be disappear. Okay, androecium, gynoecium, they're all going to be disappear. And finally, there is a only remaining of the ovary and then ovules, everything they are going to be present. Okay, the ovary is going to be converted into fruit and the ovule becomes seed. So here thalamus is also involving in the formation of the fruit. Such fruits we call it as a false fruits. You can take the example apple and strawberry. Okay, and here the next point here, coming to the true fruits. True fruits, they are dead opposite to false fruit. Here there is only involvement of ovary. There is no involvement of any other thalamus or any other parts. But majority of the plants are true fruits because ovary only is going to be involved here. Ovary is only going to be involved here. Majority of the plants, they are all true fruits. Only ovary is involving in the formation of fruit. Such fruits we call it as a true fruits. Okay, these are the two types of fruits we can see here. One is false fruits, another one is true fruits. False means there is involvement of ovary as well as other parts of the flower or other parts of the ovary, or not other parts of the ovary, other parts of the flower, they are involving in the formation of fruit. But when you come to the true fruits, there is only involvement of ovary. Okay, such fruits we call it as a true. Okay, this is about the types of fruits. One is false, another one is true fruits. And students, along with that, here you can see another important point here, that is parthenocarpic fruits. And some fruits are also like that, parthenocarpic fruits. What is meant by parthenocarpic fruits? The fruits formed without fertilization. Please remember, 1 marks question, very important. This parthenocarpic fruit, for 1 marks it is very important. What are parthenocarpic fruits? So many times asked about this question for 1 marks. The fruits formed without fertilization, not seed. So many students are going to be write it as a seed. The seed formed without fertilization. It is wrong. It is completely wrong. Okay, don't write like that. You have to mention the fruit. The fruits are going to be formed without the fertilization. Okay, there is involvement of the hormones, growth hormones and everything. Okay, that is other concept. That is a parthenocarpic fruit. Here the fertilization is not going to be happen here. That female gamete itself start development. Start the development. So that finally result in the parthenocarpic fruits. And usually the fruits, those are parthenocarpic, they do not have seeds. They do not contain seeds. There is no seeds at all. in parthenocarpic fruits. There is no seeds at all. Example, you can take banana. For 2 marks question, they will ask the question, what are parthenocarpic fruits? Give example. Okay, if they ask give example, you have to write the banana. In banana you can't find the seeds, but in naturally growing banana we can find the seeds, but in majority they don't have seeds. For what reason? Because parthenocarpic process going to be occur here. Parthenocarpic. Okay, that such fruits are also present here. The fruits, those are formed without fertilization, those we call it as a parthenocarpic fruits. You can take the example, that is banana. Okay, that is banana. Okay, this is, students, this is about fruit. Okay, this is complete information about fruit. Okay, very simple is there, and a very small concept, fruit. We already studied about the seed, and we already studied about the now we studied about the fruit. And here you just remember pericarp, then false fruit and true fruits. Example for false fruits. Okay, example for false fruits. And then you can remember the parthenocarpic fruits. Okay, definition of parthenocarpic fruits and then example. This is important. In this case you have to remember this one. And usually fruits are mainly produced from ovary. Sorry, this you have to remember. Okay, this is the concept regarding fruit. These are all the points regarding the fruits. Okay, you can follow all these points. Okay, moving to the next one, that is advantages of seeds. Advantages of seeds. There is so many advantages of seeds. Okay, usually in angiosperms, they mainly depend on the seed. The end product in case of angiosperm, that is seed. Without seed they will not find next generation. Without seed inside, in some plants, for example banana, parthenocarpic fruits are going to be formed, but majority of the plants, they completely depend on seeds. If they have seeds, they can continue to their next generation. And usually so many examples we can see here, so many importance of the seeds. Those are advantages. We can find the better adaptive strategies for dispersal, food reserve. You can see protection, you can see new combinations, you can see basic basis of agriculture, viability. Okay, like this, there are so many importance are there, and so many important advantages are there. Okay, they have a lot of advantages. Those you have to just remember. Okay, this is not that much important, but they given in your NCERT, and the example they given here, some example, those are also very important. Please remember all those. And here the first point, that is better adaptive strategies for dispersal. Better adaptive strategies for dispersal means, usually plants have adaptations, those seeds have adaptations. Okay, you can disperse all those. You can put the seeds, or you can start the development of the seed from one area, and then this can also transport to the next area. All those seeds and can plant in another area, another different area, and they are well adapted for that condition. And this is very important for the species. For example, if I am going to grow these in some area, they are also able to germinate, and then they give rise to a plant. And the same seed I can put in next other area, other area, and here also the same plant is going to be developed. Here germination, everything occurs, plant is going to be developed. This is very important for the development of the species. So these are better adaptive strategies for dispersal. Okay, these are better adaptive strategies for dispersal. This is important for the species. Okay, this is very important for the species. They can grow in any other areas. That is very important. Okay, next to this is food reserve. Usually the seeds may reserve the food. These may reserve the food in different forms they are present. And this food reserve is very important. A reservation of food is very important because when the seeds are present at that time, there is no photosynthesis at all. There is no photosynthesis at all because they don't have any leaf. If the leaf are present, photosynthesis can occur, but without leaf, how the photosynthesis is going to be happen here? If I plant this seed in some place, it should be germinate itself. It should be germinate and it should give rise to the leaves. Okay, this must not should happen. This gives rise to the leaves. But during the germination time, they have to spend some amount of energy. They require some amount of energy, and that is stored in the seeds. Okay, that is stored in the seeds, and usually we can consume that also. Okay, you can stock them for years and then you can consume that, and the same seeds we can use for the next season for the growth. Okay, such conditions are there. Usually the importance of the storage of the food, reserve of the food, is just a germination purpose. They have to germinate and they have to produce the leaves, and after the germination they are going to be, they don't require any reserve food in their seeds, because plants will take the sunlight and then they can able to prepare the energy source, and that is going to be utilized by the plants. Okay, that is a type, that is a condition, that is reserve, food reserve. And next to this, here you can see protection. Next to this, that is protection, and this is also very important, protection. And in case of protection, here it mainly contains two layers. When it is in oval condition, there is a two integuments. One is outer integument and the one is inner integument, and those will become the layers of the seed. The outer layer we call it as a testa. Outer layer we call it as a outer layer we call it as a 1 minute. Okay, outer layer we call it as a testa. Inner layer we call it as a tegmen. And this will protect the seeds. This will protect the developing embryo present inside the seed, or embryo present inside the seed. That is mainly protected by the seed coats. Okay, two coats we can find here. One is outermost one is testa, and the one is innermost one is tegmen. These are the two coats of the seed, and this will help for the growth of the embryo, or the embryo is going to be well protected here. Okay, and wherever the harsh conditions are there, whatever the things they are going to face, those are all mainly protected by these two layers. Okay, this is the important thing about the protection. Okay, next to this, here you can see that is new combinations of plants they are going to be produced here. New combination of plants they are going to be produced here. New combination. For example, this is the female reproductive structure. You can see the seed, the flowering from the different plant is going to fall, and then there is the fertilization and everything will happen here. And the sexual reproduction is mainly depends on the sexual reproduction is mainly made for that purpose only. They need variations. That is very important, and that variation is made for the different gametes are going to be fused here. Okay, they are able to develop like that. Okay, variations are required, and those variations are hopefully produced by the seeds. Okay, this is the new combination of gametes are also allowed here. This is the next point. And next to this, basis of agriculture. Usually for the agriculture purpose, seeds are very important, because farmers are going to be store the seeds. They have to store the seeds and they have to wait for the season. So for that purpose, the seeds are very important for the agriculture purpose, because without seed how can they grow the plants? Because these angiosperms are not depend on the water. They are not depend on the water, they are completely depend on the seeds. Okay, they are completely depend on the seeds. So what will happen, the dryness of the seed is very important. Seeds are dry, only 10 to 15% of water is going to be remain over there. And dormancy, these two are very important for the agriculture, because dormancy means the metabolically inactive, the seed is metabolically inactive in that condition. Okay, it is inactive in that condition. So what will happen, the farmers can store them for months, for a few long, for a year they are going to be store them as a food, as well as to develop the next or to grow in the next season. Okay, for that purpose dormancy and dryness is very important. So it is the basis for agriculture. And then next point, that is the last point, that is viability. Viability is also very important here. The viability of the seed can vary for a year, for several years, 1,000 years, 10,000 years. Okay, it depends. The viability of the seeds are depend. Okay, they are depend on the species. Some of the plant species they can survive up to 1,000 years. Some of them are going to be survive up to 10,000 years. Some of them are going to be survive to 2,000 years, 3,000 years. Okay, based on that. Okay, they are going to be have a different viability period or viability time. And some examples they given in your NCRT. We can take those examples here. One is that is lupin. Okay, the oldest is that the lupin, and this lupin is mainly, they have a scientific name, that is Lupinus arcticus. Okay, Lupinus arcticus is a scientific name of lupin plant. Lupin plant, usually it is mainly extracted from Arctic tundra. From the region of Arctic tundra they are mainly extracted, so they given the name arcticus. And this seed we are going to be this seed can grow after 10,000 years. The dormancy time, the viability of the seed is about 10,000 years. Imagine that, 10,000 years of dormancy time. It will not do any metabolic activities up to 10,000 years, but when it gets the favorable conditions, at that time it is able to develop into, or it is able to germinate. Okay, name of the plant, what is it? Lupin, that is Lupinus arcticus. Okay, it is mainly extracted from the Arctic tundra. Okay, and here the viability is 10,000 years. Okay, 10,000 years of dormancy it has. Okay, this is the oldest plant what we found. Okay, this is the oldest one. It can grow after 10,000 years. Okay, this one example they given in your NCRT. And next that here, that is a recent record they given here about 200 years, that is date palm. The scientific name is Poinix dactylifera. Okay, Penix, not Poinix, Penix dactylifera. Penix dactylifera is the scientific name of date palm. And what is the viability or what is the dormancy time? That is around 2,000 years. Up to 2,000 years they are able to survive, or they have the dormancy time. And it was discovered in the during the during the archaeological excavation at King Herod's palace near the Dead Sea. Okay, near the Dead Sea there is a kingdom. From that kingdom we mainly observed this date palm. Okay, about 2,000 years of dormancy period this date palm plant have. And where it is mainly found, it is mainly discovered during the King of Herod's palace. Okay, that is near the Dead Sea. During this kingdom we find that date palm. Okay, these are all the importance of advantages of seeds. Okay, this is given in your NCRT. Just remember these examples. Okay, for theory purpose is not useful. For competitive purpose they can ask the examples. Okay, that is, for that purpose it is useful. Okay, please remember that. These are all the advantages: better adaptation, adaptive strategies for dispersal, food reserve, protection, new combination, and then basis of agriculture. These are all the important points about the advantages of seeds. Okay, I think all of you understood about advantages of seeds as well as the structure of fruit. Okay, in that you have to remember the pericarp, false fruit, true fruit, how they are formed, what are false fruits, what are true fruits, and then along with that what are uh, what are parthenocarpic fruits. Okay, those are all very important. Please remember about all those, and then just remember these examples: lupin, and then here the date palm they given in your NCRT. Please remember those, and for your competitive exam purpose it is useful. And in the next video lecture we'll start with that is apomixis. Okay, another new concept, that is apomixis, and that we will study, and that is, I think, that is the last bit of this topic. Okay, that will discuss in the next class. Okay, I think so all the concept is clear, and if you have any doubt you can ask through WhatsApp, or you can comment in the comment box. Okay, thank you.